The room sparkled like 1,000 stars trapped in glass. Chandeliers hung from the ceiling, dripping light onto the crowd below. Amara stood at the edge of the gala, her red dress hugging her like a secret. She was 24, with eyes that could make anyone believe anything. Her smile was a trap, and tonight it was set. She scanned the room, her heart racing, not from fear, but from the thrill of the game. Abuja's richest men were here, politicians with fat wallets, business owners with greedy dreams. And Amara? She was ready to take it all. But something fell off tonight, like a shadow watching her from the corner. "Ready, princess?" Tunde whispered, appearing beside her. Her best friend was tall, with a grin that could charm a snake. He wore a sharp suit, but his eyes darted around, nervous. Tunde was the brains behind their lies, the one who made fake papers look real, who turned Amara's stories into gold. Together, they were unstoppable. Or so they thought. "Always," Amara said, but her stomach twisted. She pushed the feeling away. Tonight was big. They were targeting Chief Okoye, a politician who loved showing off his money. Amara had spent weeks pretending to be a businesswoman with a big project. She told him she needed his cash to make millions. He believed her. They always did. But as she sipped her drink, a man across the room stared at her too long. His face was hidden in the crowd, but his eyes burned. Who was he? "Let's move," Tunde said, nudging her. Amara took a deep breath and glided toward Chief Okoye. Her heels clicked on the marble floor, each step pulling her deeper into the lie. The chief was laughing with two men, his gold watch flashing. Amara's smile widened. "Easy prey." "Chief Okoye," she called, her voice sweet like honey. He turned, his face lighting up. "Amara, my star, come, come." He waved her over, already bragging to his friends. "This is the young genius I told you about. Her business will change Nigeria." Amara laughed, playing shy, but inside, her mind raced. She had to hook him tonight, get him to promise the money. As they talked, she spun her story. A fake company building fancy hotels. She used big words, made it sound exciting. Chief Okoye's eyes grew wide, greedy. "I'm in," he said, leaning close. "How much do you need?" Amara's heart leaped, but then she felt it again. That stare. She glanced over her shoulder. The strange man was closer now, standing by a pillar, sipping a drink. His suit was plain, but his eyes were sharp, like they could see through her. Tunde noticed too. He touched her arm, a warning. "Wrap it up," he whispered. Amara nodded, turning back to the chief. "Let's meet tomorrow to sign the papers," she said, her voice smooth. Chief Okoye clapped his hands. "Tomorrow, then. Millions, Amara, millions." She laughed, but her skin prickled. The man was still watching. As she and Tunde slipped toward the exit, the air felt heavy, like a storm was coming. Outside, the Abuja night was hot and loud, cars honking, lights flashing. Tunde grabbed her hand, pulling her to their car. "Did you see that guy?" he asked, his voice low. He wasn't just looking. He knew something. Amara's heart pounded. "Maybe he's nobody," she said, but she didn't believe it. She climbed into the car, her red dress catching on the seat. Tunde started the engine, his hands shaking. "Nobody stares like that," he muttered. "We need to be careful." They drove to Amara's apartment, a fancy place high above the city. The walls were white, the furniture shiny, all paid for with stolen money. But tonight it didn't feel safe. Amara kicked off her heels and paced, her mind spinning. Who was that man? A cop? A rival? Or worse, someone from her past? She pushed the thought away, but it clawed at her, like a dream she couldn't shake. "Tunde, check the papers," she said, trying to stay calm. He pulled out his laptop, scrolling through fake emails, fake contracts. "Everything's clean," he said, but his voice was tight. "Amara, what if we're pushing too far? This chief's big. If he finds out..." "He won't," she snapped, but her hand shook. She walked to the window, staring at the city lights. Abuja was her playground, but now it felt like a trap. She remembered her old life, poor, hungry, invisible. She'd sworn she'd never go back. That's why she started this, why she lied, why she took. But tonight, the lies felt heavy, like they were choking her. A loud knock at the door made them both jump. Amara froze, her breath catching. Tun's eyes went wide. "Who's that?" he whispered. The knock came again, harder. Amara's heart raced. Nobody knew where she lived. Nobody real, anyway. She crept to the door, her bare feet silent on the floor. Tund grabbed a lamp, holding it like a weapon. She peered through the peephole. A man stood there, his face half hidden by a cap. Her stomach dropped. It was him, the man from the gala. He knocked again, louder, and said her name. Amara. His voice was low, calm, but it sent ice down her spine. "We need to talk." Amara backed away, her mind screaming. How did he know her name? Her real name? She looked at Tund, his face pale. The knock came again, and the man's voice grew darker. "Open the door, Amara, or I'll tell them everything." Her world tilted. Tell who? What did he know? The room spun, the lights too bright, the air too thick. She grabbed Tund's arm, her voice a whisper. "What do we do?" But before he could answer, the door rattled, like the man was trying to get in. Amara's heart stopped. The game was over, or was it just beginning? The clock in Amara's apartment ticked louder than ever, each second like a heartbeat in the dark. She stood frozen, staring at the door where the stranger had knocked last night. He was gone now, but his words echoed in her head. "I'll tell them everything." Who was he? What did he know? Amara's hands shook as she sipped her coffee, the fancy apartment feeling like a cage. Tund sat on the couch, his laptop open, his face pale. They were supposed to meet Chief Okoye today to seal their biggest scam yet, but the air felt thick with danger. Something was coming, and it wasn't good. "Amara, we can't go," Tund said, his voice shaky. "That guy last night, he knew your name. Your real name." Amara's stomach twisted. Nobody knew her real name, not even Chief Okoye. She'd buried her past deep, locked it away where no one could find it. But last night, that man's voice had dug it up, like a ghost from a bad dream. "We have to go," she said, forcing her voice to stay steady. "If we back out now, the chief will get suspicious. We're so close, Tund. Millions." She tried to sound confident, but her heart raced. The plan was simple. Meet Chief Okoye, show him fake papers, get his money. But the stranger's face kept flashing in her mind. Those sharp eyes, that creepy calm. Was he watching them now? Tund slammed his laptop shut. This is crazy. What if he's a cop? Or worse? His eyes were wide, scared. Amara wanted to yell at him, tell him to toughen up, but she felt it too. The fear creeping in, cold and heavy. She walked to the window, looking out at Abuja's busy streets. The city was alive, but it felt like it was closing in on her. "Let's check the cameras," she said, pointing to the tiny security camera by the door. Tund nodded, pulling up the footage on his phone. They watched in silence as the grainy video showed the stranger last night, his cap low, his face half hidden. He stood at the door, then looked straight at the camera, like he knew it was there. Amara's breath caught. "He's playing with us," she whispered. The phone buzzed, making them jump. It was a text from an unknown number. "You can't hide forever, Amara." Her heart stopped. She dropped the phone, her hands shaking. Tund grabbed it, his face white. "We're done," he said. "We need to run." "No," Amara snapped, her voice sharp. "Running makes us look guilty. We stick to the plan." But inside, she wasn't sure. Her mind flashed to her childhood, her mom crying, no food in the house, the shame of being nobody. She'd promised herself she'd never be that girl again. That's why she lied, why she stole. But now, it felt like the past was catching up. They drove to the meeting in silence, the city blurring past. Chief Okoye was waiting at a fancy hotel, his gold rings shining as he waved them over. "Amara, my star," he boomed, his smile too big. The restaurant was packed, waiters rushing around, but Amara felt like everyone was watching her. She forced a smile, handing him the fake contract. "This is it, Chief. Your investment will make history." He laughed, signing the papers without reading them. Tunde stood behind her, nervous, his eyes scanning the room. Amara's heart pounded as she talked, spinning lies about hotels and profits. But then she saw him, the stranger. He was at a table across the restaurant, alone, staring. Her voice faltered. Chief Okoye didn't notice, but Tunde did. He grabbed her arm, whispering, "He's here." Amara's blood went cold. She excused herself, saying she needed the bathroom, and pulled Tunde into a hallway. "What do we do?" she hissed. Her mind was spinning, her chest tight. Tunde looked scared, his usual confidence gone. "I don't know," he said. "But he's not just some guy. He knows too much." They peeked back into the restaurant. The stranger was gone. Amara's heart raced faster. Was he outside, waiting? She felt trapped, like a mouse in a maze. "We finish this," she said, her voice hard. "We get the money, then we figure it out." Tunde nodded, but his eyes said he didn't believe her. Back at the table, Chief Okoye was still talking, loud and happy. Amara forced herself to laugh, but her hands shook under the table. She saw a shadow move outside the window. A man? She couldn't tell. Her mind flashed to a dream she'd had last night. She was running through a dark forest, branches grabbing at her, voices whispering her name. She shook it off, but the fear stayed. As they left the hotel, Chief Okoye's car pulled away, his money promised. Amara should have felt happy, but all she felt was dread. Tunde grabbed her arm. "Look," he whispered, pointing to a black car parked across the street. The stranger was there, leaning against it, watching them. He didn't move, didn't speak, just stared. Amara's knees felt weak. "Who are you?" she whispered, too quiet for him to hear. They hurried to their car, locking the doors. Tunde's hands shook as he started the engine. "We're in too deep," he said. "This isn't just about money anymore." Amara didn't answer. She stared out the window. The stranger's face burned into her mind. Her past, her lies, her whole world. It was all unraveling. And deep down, a voice whispered, "You can't outrun what's coming." The black car followed them through Abuja's crowded streets, its headlights like eyes in the dark. Amara gripped the edge of her seat, her heart thumping so loud she thought Tunde could hear it. The stranger from the gala, the one who knew her real name, was tailing them. Every turn they made, he was there, a shadow that wouldn't go away. "He's still behind us," Tunde whispered, his voice tight. Amara's mind raced. Was he a cop? A thug? Or someone from her past, back to haunt her? The city lights blurred outside, but inside her head, everything felt sharp and dangerous. "Lose him," Amara said, her voice shaking. Tunde nodded, slamming the gas pedal. The car screeched, weaving through traffic. Horns blared, but the black car stayed close, like it knew their every move. Amara's stomach twisted. She'd always been the one in control, spinning lies to trick rich men, but now she felt like the prey. Her phone buzzed, a new message from the unknown number. "You can't run, Amara." Her breath caught, and she threw the phone onto the floor like it burned her. "Who is this guy?" Tunde yelled, swerving around a truck. Amara didn't answer. She couldn't. Her mind flashed to a memory, a dark alley, a promise she'd broken years ago, a face she swore she'd never see again. Was it him? She pushed the thought away, but it clung to her like a bad dream. The car jolted as Tunde took a sharp turn into a narrow street. The black car followed, closer now. Amara's heart pounded. "He's not giving up," she whispered. They pulled into an empty parking lot, tires squealing. Tunde turned off the engine, and they sat in silence, breathing hard. The black car stopped at the edge of the lot, its lights glaring. Amara's hands shook. "What does he want?" Tunde asked, his voice breaking. She didn't know, but she felt it, a heavy, sinking feeling, like the truth was clawing its way out of her. She'd lied to so many people, stolen so much money. Had it all caught up? "Stay here," Amara said, opening the car door. Tunde grabbed her arm. "Are you crazy? He could be dangerous." But Amara's fear mixed with something else. Anger. She was tired of running, tired of hiding. She stepped out. The black car's door opened, and the stranger stepped out. His face was still half hidden by his cap, but his eyes locked onto hers, cold and knowing. "Who are you?" Amara shouted, her voice echoing in the empty lot. The stranger didn't answer. He took a step closer, and Amara's legs felt weak. "What do you want?" she asked again, her voice cracking. He tilted his head, like he was studying her. "You're good, Amara," he said, his voice low and smooth, but not good enough. Her heart stopped. He knew everything, her lies, her scams, her fake life. But how? Tunde jumped out of the car, holding his phone like he'd call for help. "Stay back," he yelled. The stranger smirked, unafraid. "Tunde, right?" he said. "You're not as smart as she is." Tunde's face went pale. Amara's mind spun. This wasn't just about her, it was about both of them. The stranger pulled out a photo and held it up. Even in the dim light, Amara recognized it. Her and Tunde, laughing at a fake meeting with another rich man. Her stomach dropped. He had proof. "Where did you get that?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. The stranger stepped closer, and now she could see his face, sharp jaw, cold eyes, a scar above his brow. He looked familiar, but she couldn't place him. "You don't remember me, do you?" he said. "But I remember you, Amara. And I know what you did." Her mind flashed to that alley again, the promise, the betrayal. Her knees buckled, but she caught herself. "Amara, let's go," Tunde hissed, pulling her toward the car. But she couldn't move. The stranger's words were like a knife, cutting into her past. She saw flashes of her old life, her mom's tears, her empty stomach, the shame of being nothing. She'd lied to escape that life, but now it was back, staring her in the face. "What do you want?" she asked again, her voice desperate. The stranger smiled, but it wasn't friendly. "Justice," he said. "You and Tunde have been playing your game too long. Someone's watching, and they're not as nice as me." He turned and walked back to his car, leaving the photo on the ground. Amara's heart raced as she picked it up. Her hands shook. It wasn't just a photo, it had a note on the back. "Chief Okoye knows." Tunde grabbed her, pulling her into the car. "We're done, Amara." "He's working for someone," he said, starting the engine. But Amara's mind was elsewhere. Chief Okoye? The man they'd just tricked? If he knew, they were in big trouble. Her dream from last night came back. A dark forest, voices whispering, hands grabbing her. She shook her head, trying to focus. "Drive," she said, her voice hard. But as they sped away, the black car didn't follow. It just sat there, like it knew they couldn't escape. Back in her apartment, Amara paced, her mind a mess. Tunde was yelling, saying they should run, leave Abuja. But Amara couldn't think straight. The stranger's face, the photo, the note, it was too much. She sank onto the couch, her head in her hands. "He knows my past," she whispered. Tunde stopped, staring at her. "What past?" he asked. She looked up, her eyes wet. She'd never told him everything, not about the alley, the promise, the person she'd hurt. And now it was coming for her. A loud buzz from her phone made them jump. Another message. "Tomorrow. Midnight. You'll see." Amara's heart stopped. The game was falling apart, and the stranger was pulling the strings. Who was he? What did he want? And why did her heart scream that the worst was yet to come? The clock struck 11, and Amara's apartment felt like a trap. The city lights outside her window flickered, but they couldn't chase away the dark feeling in her chest. The stranger's last message burned in her mind. "Tomorrow. Midnight. You'll see." It was almost midnight now, and every creak in the building made her jump. Tunde sat on the couch, his face pale, his hands fidgeting with his phone. "We should have run," he whispered, his voice cracking. Amara didn't answer. Her heart pounded like a drum. Who was the stranger? What did he know? And why did she feel like her whole world was about to crumble? She grabbed her phone, checking the time again. 11:15. 45 minutes until what? A trap? A fight? She didn't know, but she couldn't sit still. "We have to do something," she said, her voice shaky but strong. Tunde looked up, his eyes wide. "Like what?" That guy knows everything. Chief Okoye knows we lied. Amara's stomach twisted. The chief's money was supposed to be theirs, but now it felt like a noose around her neck. She paced the room, her bare feet cold on the fancy floor. Her apartment, paid for with stolen cash, felt like a lie staring back at her. She remembered her old life, hungry and scared, promising herself she'd never be weak again. But now, her lies were catching up, and the stranger's face kept flashing in her mind. That scar, those eyes, she knew him. But from where? Her dreams last night were worse. Running through a dark forest, voices screaming her name, hands pulling her down. She shook her head, trying to focus. "We'll meet him," Amara said suddenly. Tunde's jaw dropped. "Are you crazy? He's dangerous." But Amara's fear was turning into something else, desperation. She couldn't let her life fall apart. "We tiptoeing around the room. We'll find out what he wants. Then we fight back." Tunde shook his head, but he followed her as she grabbed her jacket and headed for the door. They drove to an old warehouse by the river, the place the stranger's message had told them to go. The streets were quiet, the air heavy with danger. Amara's heart raced as they parked. The warehouse loomed in the dark, its windows like empty eyes. "This is a bad idea," Tunde muttered, clutching a flashlight. Amara didn't answer. She felt like she was walking into a dream, a bad one. Inside, the warehouse was dark, the air thick with dust. Their footsteps echoed, and every shadow seemed to move. Amara's phone buzzed. Another message. Upstairs. "Now." Her blood ran cold. Tunde grabbed her arm. "This is a trap, Amara." But she pulled free, climbing the rusty stairs. She had to know. She had to end this. At the top, a single light bulb glowed. The stranger stood there, his cap gone, his scarred face clear in the light. Amara's breath caught. She knew him. His name hit her like a punch. Kemi, a boy from her old neighborhood. Years ago, she'd promised to help him, to share her dreams of a better life. But she'd left him behind, betrayed him, taken everything for herself. Now he was back, and his eyes were full of hate. "You thought you could forget me," Kemi said, his voice low and sharp. "But I never forgot you, Amara." He held up a folder, papers, photos, proof of every lie she told. "Chief Okoye hired me. He's not happy about your little game." Amara's legs shook. Tunde stepped forward, his voice loud. "You can't prove anything." But Kemi just laughed, cold and bitter. Suddenly, lights flashed outside. Sirens wailed. Amara's heart stopped. "You called the police?" she whispered. Kemi shook his head. "Not me. The chief. He wants you finished." Footsteps pounded below, cops coming fast. Amara's mind spun. She saw her life, her fancy clothes, her shiny apartment, slipping away. She saw her mom's face, crying alone. Tears stung her eyes. She'd lied to escape that life, but it was back, stronger than ever. "Run!" Tunde yelled, grabbing her hand. They bolted for the back stairs, but the cops were close, their shouts echoing. Amara's dream flashed again. The forest, the hands, the voices. Her legs burned as they ran, Kemi's laughter behind them. They burst out a side door, the night air hitting them like a slap. But the police were everywhere, their lights blinding. "Freeze!" a voice shouted. Amara's heart sank. Tunde pulled her toward an alley, but a cop stepped out, gun raised. Amara froze, her breath gone. Tunde's hand slipped from hers. "I'm sorry," he whispered, his eyes wet. She wanted to scream, to fight, but the cops were closing in. Kemi appeared behind them, his face calm, like he'd won. "You can't lie forever," he said. Amara's chest ached. She saw her past, her lies, her broken promises, all crashing down. The cops grabbed her arms, cold handcuffs clicking shut. Tunde was caught too, his face pale, his eyes on her. As they were pushed into a police car, Amara's mind spun. Was this the end? Or just the start of something worse? Her dreams, her fears, her past, they were all real now, staring her in the face. The car door slammed, and the sirens screamed into the night, leaving her wondering if she'd ever be free again.
Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more amazing stories. Click the video on your screen to keep watching. Another great video story is waiting for you.